It was 1 year ago today that war broke out between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip, a conflict that took the lives of 73 Israelis, 67 of them soldiers, and more than 2,000 Palestinians, a majority of them civilians. At a memorial service Monday in Jerusalem, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pledged that Israel will continue to protect its borders. But a group of Israeli combat veterans, calling themselves Breaking the Silence, is now calling into question the official Israeli government version of events in Gaza versus the shoot first, ask questions later reality as described by some soldiers who were there.
שיכול לסכם אתכם, אתם הורגים אותו, בלי שום. רגע, ואם זה כאזרחים חופים פשע, אומר לי, אין דבר כזה אזרחים חופים פשע, ההנחת מוצא שלך, כל בן אדם שנמצא בשטח שאתה נלחם בו, שזה שוב 200, 300, 400 מטר, הוא אויב.
There are no innocent civilians. Here now to talk about Operation Protective Edge, the Director of Public Outreach for Breaking the Silence, Avner Gvaryahu. He's also a former Israeli paratrooper. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. So this idea that there are no innocent civilians, there were no hard and fast rules during the war in Gaza, is that widespread, or do you think it's just a few testimonies?
So we actually have spoken to almost 70 soldiers putting together this report. And we have found that across the board, across the strip, different units, different places, the rules were pretty much the same. In the areas the soldiers entered, which was a strip of land and entire neighborhoods around the strip, those were the rules.
Shoot anyone you see.
We hear things along the lines of anyone who's not holding a white flag, you shoot to kill. Anyone who's over 1.40 m, you shoot to kill. Everyone who's a male, you shoot to kill. Anyone who's not specifically the IDF, you shoot to kill. And the testimonies collaborate that. We, as former soldiers ourselves, and we've been collecting testimonies for over a decade, we were very surprised. And only after hearing this from soldier after soldier, many of them officers themselves, could we actually say, and this is what we're actually saying today, these were the rules. So it wasn't a few rotten apples, but these were the rules.
All right, but let me ask you this, because the response from the Israeli government and the Israeli military to this report and to your organization in general has been strong and furious. How would you propose that Israel wage this war, given the fact that the terrorists of Hamas, and that's what they are, you probably would not disagree with that,
that's true,
embed themselves within the civilian population?
So first of all, I'd say I'm not a pacifist. I myself served for 3 years. There are more than 1,000 men and women that have met Breaking the Silence throughout these 11 years, and almost 70 of them who have fought in this operation. Not only do we believe in Israel's right to exist, but Israeli government and Israeli military's obligation to protect its citizens. But what we're asking is, while we're in this kind of operation, do we not have to ask ourselves questions? Do we not have to make sure that we not cross the red lines? And in our perspective, there is actually an idea of how you fight a war. There's actually documentation of how you fight a war. It's called the Spirit of the IDF. This is actually a document that was written around the year 2000.
The spirit of the Israeli Defense Forces.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. What we see in this operation is basically taking these ideas and throwing them out the window. And we actually found that there was no real discussion about it. Of course, protect yourself. Of course, Hamas is a terrorist organization. We have to do whatever we can to protect ourselves. But there are also limitations in war. And that's exactly what we want to put on the table. Definitely when this is part of a almost 50-year occupation, when definitely no end of it in sight.
This is how we fought in Gaza. Soldiers' testimonies and photographs from Operation Protective Edge. Avner Gvaryahu, thank you so much for your time and for what I imagine is a fairly lonely job.